I first learned about tiny houses about 12 years ago, and I wanted to build my own ever since. And I did. It took me 3 years, and now I've lived here for a year. Hi, my name is Sandra and I live in the southern part of Sweden, and this is my self-built tiny house. And let me show you around. My house is 8.8 meters long and 2.5 meters wide, and at the back it's almost 4 meters to the top of the roof. So inside it's approximately 18 square meters. And I have a little entrance area and a little lounge area where I sit and hang out when it's better, warmer weather than it is today. In here I have some firewood and also batteries and electrical stuff. I got some firewood. And here I have my gas bottle. It's for my oven and the stove. I've used quite a lot of reclaimed material. For example, my outdoor table is an old sink. And like the bench and the sofa, I built from leftover from the house, like scraps. Welcome inside my tiny house. Here is the entrance where you can hang your clothes. I have a small fridge. Pantry. Here's the kitchen. I reused an old furniture and rebuilt it. Lots of storage underneath here. And I also got my water and a 12-volt pump. I used some reclaimed copper pipes to put a little bit of this and that up there. Here's my stove. It's a gas stove with 4 burners and an oven. And I got a kitchen hood and it runs out of 12 volt. Actually, most of my appliances are running of 12 volt. I am hooked up to power. I have 2 regular 220 volt sockets, but everything else runs of 12 volt, except for the stove, of course, it's gas. And then I also have cooktop on my fireplace, and that's the main source of heat during the winter. But I also have an heating element as a backup. And actually from April to October, the house is actually heated mainly by the sun, because I have pretty big windows. So I haven't needed any extra heating during that period. The walls are built with 70 plus 45 millimeters of insulation. It's ISO, it's reclaimed papers. And I have the same insulation in the floor, but it's 120 millimeters, and in the ceiling there's 170 millimeters of insulation. So it stays very warm and cozy. And here I have a shoe rack from the flea market. I also have a kitchen table that folds up. It's an IKEA table, but I repainted and redecorated this table from IKEA to make it a little bit more personal. This is my living room area, and I built this sofa by myself. And you can actually extend it into a guest bed. And then there's also some storage underneath the sofa. The first thing a lot of people buy for their tiny house is actually a sink. But what I bought before I even started to build this tiny house was this old looking lamp. I fell in love with it at once and felt like this is going to be in my tiny house. So that was the first thing I bought.
So you built the house around your lamp?
Yeah. Over my sofa there's a mirror and it helps making the space a bit bigger. To separate my living area from the sleeping loft, I have a room divider. It's a shelf, so I have some of the shelves accessible from here, and then I have some shelves that you access from the sleeping loft.
And how big is the sleeping loft?
My bed is 2 meters by 1.4 meters, and the sleeping loft is just a little bit bigger than that. And underneath my sleeping loft, there's a lot of storage. So I have some seasonal storage in this area. And then here I have a wardrobe. So I have all of my clothes. It goes all the way in under the sleeping loft. And I also have a desk that I can pull out when I work from home. These, I use them for storage. I also use them to climb to the sleeping loft, and sometimes like I put my feet on them, or I put a wooden plate on top, and then I have it as a table. And then I have a curtain here also for some privacy if I have a guest or a friend over or something.
And the old windows have blinders, right?
Yeah, all of the windows have blinders. I like it dark when I'm sleeping. My cat has his own little house, and I choose the fabric to kind of match the walls. The sleeping loft is actually one of my favorite spots in my tiny house, mainly because I have two very big windows here. So when I lie down at night, I can see the stars, even though I don't have a window in the ceiling. I see the stars anyway, so it's very cozy, and I like to get up. You get up quite high from the ground, and also you feel like it's a little nest. It's very cozy up here.
And how long did it take you to build this tiny house?
It took me 1.5 years to build this tiny house, and then also I had another 1.5 years before I started, where I would look for the trailer, save up the money, make all the plans. So in total 3 years, but the actual build took me 1.5 years. And I did most of the building myself, like 90% or so. And then I had some friends who helped me with the rest.
And would you have done something differently if you would be doing it again?
I would have chosen another trailer, I think. I reused an old one, and I think I would have bought maybe a new one. I would like to have a trailer that was lower and have more wheels on it, and maybe like especially built for a tiny house. This is my bathroom. It's 3 square meters, and this wall is actually clay. It reduces the steam. And for the other walls, I have a wall system from Fibotrespo, and it's waterproof, so you can have it in bathrooms. I have a small bathtub, and then I've built quite a lot of furniture in here by myself. So this is reclaimed wood, this table. I also built this table where I have the sink, and I made these shelves and this where you put the towels. Used some recycled copper pipes here. I have a composting toilet, separate, tiny it's called. The total cost for building my tiny house for the material was about 25,000 euros or dollars. And then of course I have put in a lot of work and effort to build it. So the cost was only for the material. One of the best things with building your own tiny house, I think, is that you get to choose all the details and the colors and materials, and you can spend some extra time and love on the things that you like, things that you maybe wouldn't do in a rental or something. So you end up with these like very personal details, and that makes the house a home. I'm actually in the process of selling my tiny house, which wasn't the plan at all. But long story short, I found an old small house with a garden. I'm gonna move there instead. It's a bit sad to sell my tiny house. I love it really, but also I'm looking forward to this new chapter. I realized that one of the best of the things with my tiny house isn't actually the house itself, but it was the process of building it. I learned so much. It was a very steep learning curve, and also I grew a lot, and like it's a very empowering thing and challenging to build your own tiny house. So but I'll be able to keep that, like the experience and all the knowledge of building your own home. and also it's handy in my work. I work as a building engineer and make a lot of drawings. So now I feel like I have a deeper understanding of the building process. I don't only have the theoretical knowledge, but I also know how to do things practical, and that's great. That's helpful in my work. I hope you enjoyed the tour. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me on Instagram. Take care.